no more matches to play, which means the loser of this match is going to be relegated from Grandmasters. In a way, it does feel a little bit better to know that it is a head-to-head for that last spot. It always feels kind of weird when you're indirectly relying on someone else to beat someone for you to avoid relegation, like what we saw in Europe. But now it's just head-to-head, one best of 3 to see who's going to be playing in Grandmasters next year and who is not.
Yep, another safe start from both players. I mean, this just goes to show you how much it means to them that they need to be able to get this win in the Priest Mirror.
Yeah.
We've seen some back and forth games. We've also seen some major swing games, and Zalae with an opening hand that I think is really good.
Yeah, you guys will see it in just a moment. Our spectator client is a little bit ahead. You won't see it until Rase fully mulligans, but you could see the look on his face, and I was wondering, I was like, that look on Zalae's face, he either got the worst opening hand you could imagine, or he got the best opening hand you can imagine. One drop plus Interfire is a great opening hand. Usually, if you can get that edge, you're happy. But there you can see it. Zalae, one drop, Power Word Shield, Interfire, and another one drop. That's the juice.
Zalae was spectating me right before I came up before the transition from Europe to Americas, and was yelling at me to get his free pack because he had to watch a friend win a game, and so the pressure was on. And Zalae was just kind of like, you know, looking at my plays, and I was like, hey, Zalae, I might have to leave in the middle of this game because I might have to go up and cast. And he's like, how could you value your job over my pack? And my takeaway from that was Zalae seems to at least keep things loose. You know, even if things are really dramatic and serious, at least he's keeping himself upbeat, you know, joking around, having fun. And I think that's what people love about him. But yet, at the same time, when it comes down to it, he's ready to take care of business.
Hey, I got you, friend.
And Rase has got to be feeling confident with what he has in hand, but he's probably thinking to himself, well, I need to dodge one thing.
Which is Beaming Sidekick or Power Word Shield into an Interfire.
Yeah. Right now, he currently does not have a follow-up if that were the play for Zalae. While Pyromancer might be able to help him out a little bit, but he's going to need some help otherwise. And Zalae going to think, you know, what's the best play? But with the Beaming Sidekick, he just needs to kind of go in. Yep.
Rase. Upset to say the least.
And you can see that Rase is a little bit less animated than normal. Yes, he kind of winced at that Interfire, but he seems hyper-focused, and you know, I'm sure he told himself before this match, you know, don't let emotions kick in. Just kind of play to the best of your ability, ignore everything one game at a time. What's the play? He kind of has to just fight back on board, and I think you just have to play the Wild Pyromancer. And
yeah. His hand is actually not nearly as bad as it might look because he has Injured Blade Master to Psycho Pump. That gives him a 1 out of 4 chance to revive the Northshire Cleric, sorry, the Light Warden, the Beamy Sidekick, and the Wild Pyromancer. Honestly, even a Wild Pyromancer revive isn't that bad because it's still a 3-2, which tends to challenge most minions. Zalae introduced with a couple of options here. I think the most important thing in his mind is trying to get value off the Northshire Cleric while he can, so the Light Warden seems like a fairly obvious play at first glance.
Yep, draw a card, keep the Northshire Cleric alive. Oof.
Yep, it's not looking good right now for Rase.
I mean, it is like the best chance for a comeback, I think, which is the Interfire plus Injured Target. If you don't answer the Light Warden now, there's a chance that you may never.
We've seen Light Wardens just solo players in this matchup.
Yeah.
It's looking very good for Zalae.
Life is an afterthought.
Interesting. Good sequencing by Zalae to not just automatically throw out the Wild Pyromancer, assuming he wants to play it in case he picked up something else. If he picked up the Injured Tolvir, that's probably a consideration.
There's a couple of bad ones here from this Psycho Pump. You heal it, you give Zalae a card.
Oh, it gets the Injured Tolvir. Is it going to matter, though? Is he just too far behind?
I've got more left in me.
In the light's name.
Just going to kind of create tension on the board.
He does make himself a little bit weaker to Wild Pyromancer stuff, but Rase did just play a Rase has played Wild Pyromancer. In addition, Rase has only 2 cards in hand, so you would have that exactly spells with Pyromancer number 2.
Yeah.
Seems unlikely.
He does run the 2 Wild Pyromancer, so it is something that has to, be on Zalae's mind. But at this point, he's just so far ahead on the board. Injure Blade Masters and heal them without drawing cards.
Right. You debate whether or not he should preemptively trade, but rather not give him that value.
Not quite there, but if he
Divine Spirit,
struggles his
perhaps?
board, it's probably just going to be some trades, to be honest.
Especially, again, because your board is relatively weak on the health across it, right? It has like 2 health, 2 health, 3 health, 1 health. You don't want to give him like this weird miracle Pyromancer out, and then you lose everything. Pyromancer in the hand, but it's just too late. There's lethal on the board.
Yep, looks like game 1, going to go over to Zalae.
That's it. The Druid deck from Zalae, is there anything that he can use outside the norm in order to try and beat the Priest?
Pounce.
There is the Pounce.
Yep.
Pounce early game is surprisingly very useful. You look at like Light Warden, for example. That thing won't stick. So the Pounce will help deal with the first minion. But, Wild Pyromancer are chipping for 2. Or, sorry, for 3.
In the light's name.
Either way. Wild Pyromancer as a follow-up is still very nice here.
Well, if Zalae makes it to turn 6, he's in a good spot.
Very tough. Rase is trying to stay focused, but Zalae's tech cards. I mean, that's why you put Pounce in the deck. So you can dump your hand as well when you're nourishing. It's a very nice inclusion from Zalae. He does have Psychopomp in the hand. Psychopomp reviving the 3-2 is not exactly what he's looking for a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, a lot of times when you're playing the Druid, like, you just feel so scared when you're just like forced to pass multiple times in a row.
That's why you play Druid, to not do anything until turn 5.
It's scary.
That's where the power comes in. Rase had to make a pretty tough decision here. Loading up 2 Wild Pyromancers on the board really limits the amount of things you can do. Because if you play a single spell without buffing the health of one of these Pyromancers, both will die.
Yes.
So Rase, by committing the second Pyromancer, says, my plan is tempo.
And choosing not to attack, doesn't want to give a Light Warden any buffs.
Rase is on a definite clock here to get a pretty big board rolling. By turn 4, you expect to be threatening combos a lot of times in this matchup, right?
True.
You expect to have that big Tolvir on board that you've been able to heal because it wasn't removed because the Druid's been passing. But instead, he has this kind of wide board full of misfit Priest minions.
Just attacking with, just playing Zoo.
Yeah.
Zoo Priest, just minions on curve, more minions, stats, make things inconvenient for the Druid. And honestly, if I'm Rase, the one thing I'm fearing more than anything is the curve into Starfall.
Yes.
Starfall feels like it'd be super crushing. However, with 2 Reborn minions, Reborn doesn't work the way you think it does with Starfall or even Death Rattle. It activates both simultaneously. You don't get to kill the Reborn minion. So having 2 Reborn minions, especially 2 Light Wardens, I mean, that might be a weird blessing in disguise.
That's why the committal of the second Wild Pyromancer is such a big deal. Because plays like that are all of a sudden closed off.
Wow. Zalae attacking the 3-1. No Ferocious Howl to dig deeper. Does not want to take too much here. I think he's anticipating that he's going to play Oasis Surger, so if he's going to remove other threats, he needs to remove that 3-1, otherwise it's going to hit him multiple times in a row. Another Circle of Healing.
Dan.
This Psychopomp also getting killed also means that there's a 3-1 in the pool for Resurrections.
Yes.
It's not truly an all-in, because if you pick up Northshire Cleric, you still have Circle of Healing. Oh, he gets the Light Warden. That's big. That's big, too, because Zalae has Oasis Surgers, which are going to be damaged. Another Light Warden. In the light's name, indeed. Zalae down to 12 health.
Circle of Healing would heal 5 minions with 3 Light Wardens.
He's out of time. He has to make a decision
That
soon.
would be 10 attack each Light Warden.
What's
Rase
he
has
gonna
like
kill?
40 damage.
That game.
4, 5, 6. He can heal.
Yes. It's very much lethal.
If I count. Oh no, wait, it's +6 for each one.
Yes.
So each Light Warden has 7 attack. It's 24 damage. Oh my goodness.
That's what I was saying. Like, it feels like it's better to keep the 2 Pyromancers than it is to actually kill them.
Well, but then if you, no matter what, you're leaving damaged minions on the board. There's a lot of players in Europe that think that Shaman is an overwhelming favorite, especially with a Stormbringer tech that we've been seeing from players. Rase does have double former champ in his list, which does help the matchup a lot. He does have a mind control tech, which can help the matchup a lot. But let's get into it. Wrath and Pounce. Zalae has the answer to the Evil Totem.
I gotta say, Zalae mulliganed his Worthy Expedition. That's a card that you universally play on turn 2.
Yeah.
When you have the quest. And he mulliganed it for Pounce, which he got, or Crystal Merchant, or Innervate. I think those are like the only cards you could ever justify throwing that Worthy Expedition away for. Because you already have Wrath. And he gets it. So he can answer an Evil Totem, but ironically enough, there is no Evil Totem, so him making a bold call with that Pounce pickup is not necessarily paying off right now.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Big pickup here from Rase too. Questing Explorer, very good to establish that early game tempo. And one thing that we're going to talk about is going to come into play here is that early chip damage from Shaman, because you do have that window of pressuring Druid too much. Surprisingly enough, one of the best lackeys that I've found against Druid is Titanic Lackey, because it stops them from getting Starfall and swipes that are really good. It forces Oasis Surgeon to attack into certain targets, and you get to keep pressuring.
Yeah. Same with Witchy Lackey. Witchy Lackey and Mutate are often used relatively early in this matchup just because you want to try and get value out of your minions. You know, evolving a 1/1 Evil Cable Rat into a 3/3 and pushing 9 damage with that is oftentimes better than on turn 5 or 6 mutating a former champ that's going to get swept up in AoE Oasis Surger anyway.
And Rase is just thinking about how he uses the rest of his mana, or if he does, he passes.
Without the quest complete, you're looking at an awkward situation. So we'll see what Rase decides to do with this mana next turn, because he's still not finding too powerful of plays.
Ooh, former champ is nice. Very nice. 5/5 is hard to deal with. Before they finish the quest, you get that 5 damage in.
Float like a butterfly.
Sting like a bee.
Nourish is a big pickup for Zalae.
I think Wrath is great at picking up targets, but
Okay,
oh,
he's setting
interesting.
He's setting up for Nourish Wrath next turn because he's going to have the quest complete.
I like that. This is very smart, actually, because Wrath will deal 4 damage after the quest.
Yep. It's just a
Good
matter
map
of
out here from Zalae.
how much Rase can punish in the meantime.
Right. This is Race's chance.
Is that a
Or
Sandstorm
last chance,
Elemental
rather,
pickup?
to pressure.
This is... Woof.
There is little time.
Supposed to play Cobalt Lackey a while ago. I don't think so, given that he has Weaponized Wasp in hand. But he's playing like reactive with his cards, right? Like he wants Cobalt Lackey to be like either a press in for the victory or a kill minions onto the board. Floating mana is not what you want to do in a game like Hearthstone, especially when you have such a limited window to pressure the Druid. Because now this board isn't strong enough, and this is where the point where I feel like Druid is favored in the matchup.
Yeah. Ooh.
Big pickup here for Zalae.
I mean, that is an insane turn from Zalae. Nourish gets to remove, draw a card right into the Anubisat Defender.
I think that's like the best course of action, given that he gets conditional cards out of his hand. Can even play Mogu Flesh Shaper in this spot, but I think, again, Weaponized Wasp is conditional, so capitalize while you can. Rase is going to really need Shutterwalk to help him in this game because Zalae is about to start turning things the other direction. He has double Oasis Surger available to him. I think he's also in the back of his mind worried about Barista Lynchin, so he definitely wants to play Oasis Surger here. Kill off the biggest threats. Forbiddeness Flube comes out. Oh. He's going for value trades so that he can be resilient against the Sandstorm Elementals, but he's not resilient against 2 of them.
But, like, this is about as good of a turn he can hope for, given Zalae's position in the game.
Swing the other direction. Zalae nodding, recognizing that something that he was afraid of, but also has the opportunity just to go for pure tempo. Innervate Hidden Oasis. Maximum stats, maximum pressure.
I think there was some merit in healing up one of these Oasis Surgers, but I understand getting the full value of the heal, considering that Shaman can, like, cheese wins with damage. But now this is a full turn where Rase is ceding essentially all tempo over to Zalae, and there's 16 damage on the other side of the board, and he's developing a 1-1 and a 2-3.
16 damage with Zephyrus can be able to add 9
right
with Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Or 8 with Savage Roar. That's less.
He's still got a ton of 1-ups left in his deck,
Oh
though.
boy, a Cenarius pickup here for Zalae. He does know about the threat of mind control tech. He's coming up on Shutterwalk turn as well, so something to be mindful of is whether or not his board's just going to disappear if the Shutterwalk comes out. He's going for it. Zalae adds the Cenarius pressure, and that is a heck of a lot of damage coming out here. Rase is down to 8 life points.
He needs to Bog Slosher the Novice Engineer and hope that his next card is exactly Mind Control Tech. He can Hero Power Bog Slosher. He would then need to Mind Control Tech steal both the Oasis Surgers to be able to trade both in.
Does not have enough mana anymore, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, no. With these draws, he's now down to a Mogu Flesh Shaper Evolve, but is that even enough to do anything?
No, it's absolutely not.
And the final moments of Rase's career in Grandmasters is about to conclude. And with an Alakir taunt in the way, that's nice. But nice doesn't cut it. And at the end of this best of 3 in the Shaman versus the Druid, Zalae has the game-ending damage. And he will be the one surviving the relegation and will be joining us in 2020 for the Grandmaster season.
A big match, you know. Rase took a risk there with the Shaman Q, had a lot of faith in it, and just couldn't find the pressure early on. Couldn't find the resource generation. And Zalae able to get the job done and keep his spot in Grandmasters, but you got to feel for Rase. That's a tough one. You could see kind of the emotion settling in for him at the end there. You know, deep breath, kind of realizing that he's got some decisions to make moving forward about, you know, his future in Hearthstone.
Yep. The good thing, at least for Rase, is that he's got a lot of cups that he still plays in for Brazil or even just Latin America. Part of what makes Rase's claim to fame in Hearthstone esports was his dominance in Copa America and whatnot going into 2018. For now, let's go ahead and join. We're joined by Zalae for an interview just to chat with him post-relegation match. Zalae, can you hear us?
Hey, guys. I hear you.
All right. Talk to me about what's going through your head. I think that there's a lot weighing on this match, obviously, for everybody, but none more than you and Rase.
Yeah, it's been a difficult week. You know, it doesn't feel good to relegate Rase. I know he really wanted to win, and it didn't seem like there was a ton he could do in some of those games. I want to give him credit for bringing that Aggro Warrior deck. In my preparation, I was very focused on beating him, and I was not expecting that, and it gave him an advantage. It made the matchup less likely for me to win. So, you know, it was kind of a difficult decision, I think, for him to make, bringing Aggro Warrior when other people had brought it and it hadn't worked out well for them. And so, you know, if you bring it and it doesn't work out, people are going to kind of laugh at you. But it definitely gave him an advantage against me, which is the key matchup of the week. So, you know, props to him for that.
Well said. Talk a little bit about your preparation. What was that? What did that involve going into a really intense matchup like this?
I talked to my friends. I play some matches. I try and stay calm. Didn't do a good job of that. It was, I was reading Twitter this morning. A lot of emotional stuff on there. So it's been a difficult week.
Apologies. Give me a moment. Zalae, you're going to be joining us for next season along with some of your friends. How much does it mean to have the support of your friends and your fans around the world that cheer so loudly for you?
Yeah, that's really great. The people being positive in chat, and just not just towards me, but towards anybody, that makes me feel better. And not just me, but my friends, my other Grandmasters, and the other people. It's nice to see that positivity out there in the world. I wish some of the people being negative would grow up a little bit, and all the people saying nice things to anybody, me, Rase, whoever, all my friends, I appreciate that. That's great. That's it matters more than you'd think. And I definitely felt like I let myself and my fans down a bit this year. I was trying to be practical and budget my time wisely. And I think, season 3, I'm not going to do it that way again. I'm definitely I'm going to work harder. I'm going to put on a better show. It might be my last season. I'm not sure either way, but I definitely don't like the way I handled these first 2 seasons at Grandmaster. I intend to do it differently in season 3. So I'm really glad I didn't get relegated for that purpose, so I can, work harder and go out better.
Thanks for joining us, Zalae. I think that was a really good note to end on. Congratulations on the victory, and we'll see you next season.
Thanks.
It's a tough day.
Yeah. Kind of getting the other end there of, obviously, it feels good to still have your spot in Grandmasters at the end of the day, but when you know that you winning this match directly affects somebody else's future in Hearthstone, in this case being Rase, it's tough. And Zalae, he came out and said in a lot of interviews throughout the year and he said it there, where he's trying to budget his time between streaming and competing in Grandmasters. And now he says he wants to do it differently going in, and this is that chance, right? And I think Zalae, in a way, there wants to do it for Rase too, saying in season 3, I'm going to prove that me winning this matchup is not just for me to be able to go into season 3 and not give it my all again. So really liked what Zalae had to say, and I'm happy to see him back next season.
Yeah, he better do well. It's one of the things that is really speaks to me when I competed in just esports, or even just like regular sports in high school, whatnot. In high school, it's best of 1 elimination a lot of times.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what ended up happening was whichever team that ended up beating the other would always feel like they would have to win for the team that they beat.
Yeah.
Especially when, you only have a couple of years in high school to compete. And again, that's an amateur level. I'm not even talking about professional level, but when you have this one chance, one shot, and you end up beating somebody, and you know that their dream was also to beat you and to continue to be the champion, in competition, there only can be one winner. And you have to inherit that. And I love the way Zalae was framing that, where he's saying, I'm going to change things. Going into next season, I'm going to be better because I have to be. Mm-hmm. And, in a way, I felt like I was taking away that he was inheriting the will of Rase to continue to fight on.
Yeah, and that's very cool to see, because Rase is a player that will be missed very dearly. Been following him for a long time, and last year he made a big splash, and you mentioned the Copa Americas, getting that spot in Grandmasters, representing Latin America and representing Brazil, and that's a big hole in Grandmasters moving forward.